I think there's a really good reason people make bad decisions. It's because they seek advice from the wrong people. And so today, let me share the 6 people you should be seeking advice from and the 6 people you definitely shouldn't. Hi, my name's Tony Law from Your First 4 Houses, and I teach people how to build a small property portfolio that generates a great income so they can give up the day job and become financially free. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell notification icon so that you don't miss out on any of the free content that I give you each and every week. So as I say, I reckon there's a really good reason some people make bad decisions, and it's because they're seeking the advice of the wrong people, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm going to share the 6 people I think you definitely should seek advice from, and perhaps the 6 people that you shouldn't. Plus I've got a few other quick tips at the end that I want to share with you so that you really maximize the advice that you're receiving. So let's start off with the 6 people that you really should be speaking to. And the first one, well, you're going to probably guess it, it's to speak to professional people. So in most cases you're going to be paying for this advice. So obviously we're talking about your solicitor or your accountant or your quantity surveyor or maybe your doctor. I know in most cases we're not really paying for the doctor's services, but these are professional people. Their job in life is to give you advice. Seek their advice, take it on board because it's probably going to be very sound advice. Next, speak to business owners, but very importantly, business owners who are clearly successful in the area that they're in. And maybe happy and fulfilled, I can kind of bolt that on as well, but they've got to be successful people. There's no point in speaking to business owners who clearly aren't successful in what they're doing. Speak to people who are clearly one step ahead of where you want to get to. That's been really how I've been able to gain so much knowledge. Not by speaking to people who are way up the tree, but maybe just somebody who's just a little bit ahead of where you want to get to. Specialist forums can be really, really good in many scenarios, but always be aware you don't really know much about the person who's just responded to your post. Maybe you're speaking to a 16-year-old with 0 experience. So just be aware of who you're speaking to. And if it's a Facebook forum, I'd probably encourage you just to check that person out. Start your own group of people. These are often referred to as mastermind groups. Now, I've been a member of a number of mastermind groups over the years, and they can be absolutely fantastic. But you're not going to want to have your friends in there. This is more of a kind of mentoring, coaching kind of thing in a loose sense. So you want to be really selective about the people that you actually put into your group. Ideally, you're wanting to put people in there that are slightly above where you are, professionally speaking. What about speaking to a mentor or coach? Now, you want to make sure that this mentor or coach has actually achieved stuff. That's really important. And can I be a bit cheeky and say I'm going to put the link to my coaching program below in the description. You might just want to check that out. But putting me to one side, seek out a really good mentor or a really good coach and seek their advice, because obviously it's going to be very much geared around you. And if you're paying them, I would suggest that's probably a good thing, because maybe you're going to value the advice more. Maybe the mentor or coach who's giving you the advice is going to put much more value and weight on it and make sure that you're getting really good value for money. So what about the people that you really shouldn't be speaking to? Now, this is a really hard list to put together, and I think you might see why. Because the very first one is friends. I would encourage you not to seek professional advice from your close friends unless they fall within the should category that I've already mentioned above. The bloke down the pub. Now, we've all done this. We had a bit of a challenge up here and we turn to the bloke down the pub, our mate, down the pub, and we sort of spill our beans and we tell them what the challenges that we're currently facing, and we say, you know, what would you do? Well, that's not somebody that you should really, I would respectfully suggest, it's not somebody whose opinion you should really value very highly. Don't speak to broke or unsuccessful people. Pretty obviously. If they haven't succeeded in the field that you're interested in, no matter how strong their views, I would encourage you to not have that conversation in the first place. Don't seek the advice from work colleagues who are at the same level as you. Sure, it's all right for you to, of course it's all right for you to seek the advice from work colleagues who are above you because you maybe want to reach up to their level, but don't go and seek the advice from the people that are kind of hanging around the water cooler or coffee machine, whatever it might be, who are on the same level as you. Those that talk the talk is another one. Now, there's lots of people out there that talk the talk, but they don't necessarily walk the walk. These are not really people whose advice you should be seeking. And this last one was really challenging. Mum and dad. Or maybe I can loosely group family into that as well. Obviously, mum and dad in particular, they care about you more than anybody. But maybe they aren't going to give you necessarily the very best advice because they care so much and they're always going to take a kind of protective view of you. Unless they fall within the should category that we've talked about. And obviously many mums and dads do that. So if they are successful in the field that you're looking at going into, of course you should be seeking their advice. Of course you should, because no one cares more about you than mum and dad and maybe direct family. So let me share a quick few tips that I really do think are going to help you here. And one of the biggest challenges when you're seeking advice is to keep an open mind, is to go in with an open mind. So you really must listen when you're seeking this advice and go in with an open mind. You are looking to seek advice. You're not looking to validate your existing ideas. Ask more than one person and weigh their advice against any other advice that you've already received, plus of course weigh it against your own values. Now, if you're emailing and seeking advice via email, send short emails. Now, I do get quite a lot of emails as an example, and if it's a really, really long email, I'm either going to kind of skip through it, or I'm maybe going to say, well, do you know what, I'll come back to that later. But if you ask a really short, concise email that directly focuses on the problem that you're currently facing, well, you're probably going to get a response from the person whose advice you're seeking. Be grateful. Now, I know this sounds bleedingly obvious, but sometimes a quick thank you isn't enough. So I would really encourage you to go that extra mile. Maybe send them some flowers, or maybe a box of chocolate, or give them some beers, something that really shows that you're grateful for the advice that they've given you, that you're grateful for the time that they've given you. Because of course, first of all, that's the right thing to do. But dare I say, secondly, that could really reinforce a fantastic contact for you. Maybe somebody who could actually be a coach or a mentor for you in the future. And lastly, as you kind of improve, as you sort of move through life and you kind of build your own knowledge and expertise, help others. Personally, I've found that helping others has been such a fulfilling part of my life that I really love it when I see that other people are out there kind of maybe selflessly also helping others as well. For more tips and tricks like these, be sure to subscribe to our channel, but also download this 50-point checklist because I know it's really going to help you the next time you buy an investment property. My name's Tony Thor from Your First 4 Houses with online training that helps you build your property portfolio.